Geekay Wolves, not the matchup that I expected, to be honest, here for elimination, but here we are.
I'm going to talk about 80% of the time.
Okay.
Okay, good.
If that's all right.
I was hoping you would.
I feel like that's what's been established in previous TriCasts.
It's fair.
Yeah. Also, I'm glad that the intro went over well because I could hear production laughing. Okay. We did not plan this at all. It came together at the last second and we're like, what if we were all just like a bunch of bobbleheads? And then I hear production just start to laugh and they're like, we're going to come together. Phenomenal stuff.
We got some operator bands going on in.
We do. We're going to Night Haven Labs first.
We've got some history on this as well. Wolves, previously they've played this map twice. They banned first Ace, then the Maverick. Both going to be possible. Glass coming through. We saw some Glass in North America when this map was played a couple of times. We saw him on the basement bomb site. Can be quite strong, obviously, for some of those rush takes. Geekay, last time they played here, I believe they banned a Sledge. And they'll also change it up. So I like this. Teams are definitely reading into their opponents. They've been VOD reviewing, a lot of footage out for these two squads. So I think there's been some good history going on here.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens when you go further into a tournament, is that you can look at, okay, what did they do domestically before the event? Now it's about what have they been doing throughout Phase 1 and Phase 2 so far. And also for Geekay, it's their first best-of-3 series because they made it cleanly through Phase 1. And, I mean, sure, domestically they've played best-of-3s before, but at this event, it's their first best-of-3 series, whereas Wolves, they've been going through the last 2 days, and they've been winning out clean 2-0s.
Yeah, Solus also a brand new ban. Fenrir was banned the one time Geekay played this map. That was, of course, earlier in this tournament against BDS. Massive upset win for Geekay. That was a 7-3 game. They were looking very, very strong in that one. And Wolves, you know, they've had a bit more mixed results on Night Haven. Obviously, 2 matches here in Atlanta Major. 7-4 over Bliss. A 7-1 loss to the Sonics. But, of course, they were on that bit of a rough start to the Swiss stage. 7-1, 7-1 for the first 2 games, and they've been on a comeback ever since.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the first time you and I are casting a MENA team, Nick? I don't think we...
Also,
I don't believe...
Also,
my first time, too.
You don't count. I feel like we didn't cast Falcons in Copenhagen.
No, I don't think we did.
And I don't think we've casted GK so far. I guess, Jesse, it's your first time.
Yeah, don't leave me out of this. Come on now.
Last time you casted was in the NAL when we were in...
With you, I think.
With me. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry as well.
It was
That was a good time, though.
It was.
That's when there were a rash of absences. I believe Nick was off in Barbados on vacation.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Enjoying some margaritas on the beach.
Okay.
I think so.
And
You're also gone for a day or two.
I had visa issues.
Yeah.
I also had those at one point.
That's correct.
That was tough.
You did. You also went to Barbados.
I did,
But to get your visa.
Strange how that works. You wouldn't expect it to get into the United States, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes.
It is always a treat to be able to lend our voices, though, to regions that we don't typically cover. It's one of the beautiful things of these international events. And while we might be experts on North America, as all 3 of us work on the North American broadcast, we have, of course, been given our first cast as a cast to do it with no NA teams because all of them are eliminated. P4 gets the very first pick, and speaking of eliminated, it's Trixt gone off the board. First, the Buck unsuccessful on the entry, and there's a follow-up, though, as P4 is caught out by Hesham.
And I think if you're Geekay right now, you just want that early momentum, get comfortable in this server up against Wolves, and kind of set the tone for this best-of-3 to come. Geekay in their previous matchups had to play it pretty spread out, pretty aggressive in your face style of Siege, and it seems like with Leader coming as a sub here, he is the current IGL, the in-game leader for the team. And he says, you know what, guys, just do your thing, take these positions, and play your own game. And Hesham right now playing the exact kind of role, lurk on the map, but find that opening kill for his team.
Yeah, last time that we saw Geekay on this map, they played this 4 times. They were 100% win rates.
Mowgli deciding that it really do be his own, with 2 kills inside of the site, leaving Noodle and Hesham as the last 2 remaining for GK with just a little bit over a minute and a half to go.
Mowgli's been their best player so far through these play-ins. When they made this comeback, it was all because of Mowgli. He went absolutely insane yesterday and the day before, starting off with a big 2K on this really roam-heavy defense from the Wolves.
I mean, if he gets 2 kills in the first round already with more to come, possibly, that's exactly where Wolves, they want to start things off. He was at a tough time, but if Mowgli's there, that doesn't really matter. Nate goes up, it goes wide, the dead shot stays alive on the catwalk rafters, and he cannot be cleared from this position. So Geekay, they got to deal with the side, and they have to deal with the roam.
This is where action can come in now as the Adrenal Surge suggests that Noodle might get a bit aggressive. There's not a lot remaining for GK. They've only got 1 smoke, but hey! Noodle can get that shot onto Deadshot, leaving 3 up for Wolves, who'll just sit and ride out the final minute of action.
Just chilling in the site right now. 50 seconds. Obviously, Geekay can take their time with this. They're going to need to if they want to clutch back this 2v3. Diffuse kit is down inside of the basement. They can drop the hatch, pick it up, so that shouldn't be too big of an issue. Approaching now with 40 seconds. They are playing pretty spread apart. You're going to have Noodle on the north side, Hisham just jumping in the south right now.
Super shorty above is something we've seen time and time again on the variety of labs played here in Atlanta. Open up those sight lines. Have one person play coverage while you go to get that diffuser down. It'll be a precarious position, though. GK have not picked up the case yet. Hisham is nearby. Instead, he'll go for kills. Mowgli a third. No fourth to be had as Noodle shuts him down, who will be stopped and slowed down by this goo mine.
10 seconds remaining.
Time very much on the shoulders of Wolves right now as Noodle attempts the plant, baiting it out. Wolves looking to engage as Bibu gets softened up, but ultimately the clock will give the round to them. Shinka in the final moments gets the pick, but the round is over anyway. Successful first round by Wolves.
And it's just a discipline at 2 versus 1. Sitting back, waiting, and said, oh, one of you sprint in, take the fight. If he's planting, you get the kill. If he doesn't, you might die for it, but you still got that 1 versus 1, which is 2 seconds left on the clock. It's a guaranteed round victory for Wolves because they played it with discipline. When it came to the side of Geekay, just a little bit too spread apart. The trades weren't really there for them.
Yeah, first round, I think the early round going heavily in the favor of Wolves really helped them out. Obviously, we talked about Mowgli having 2 big picks throughout that. He also ended up going down in that round, and funnily enough, that is Mowgli's 100th death throughout the Atlanta Major.
Okay, nice.
So far, he has the most deaths of any player in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Now, is that just because Wolves have played pretty much every round humanly possible?
Yes, he also has the most kills, and the most opening kills, and the most opening deaths.
Okay. He's leading in many ways. I mean, when you play the role that Bogda does, you are first in battle, often first to get the kill or to get killed too, and that's kind of, we see teams with stylistic differences where a team like Dark Zero, for example, Troy, he's kind of like semi-entry on attack, roaming on defense, and that's become the norm where the IGL, the leader of the team, will go in first, he dies, you can call from the grave and say, guys, go over here, hold those angle, set this up this way. Mowgli is not necessarily direct leader for Wolves, but he is a big vocal voice in the team to the Bibu and the rest of the squad to make things happen. So when he dies, he can hop on cameras, maybe make some good decisions for his team and still lead them from the grave.
We got a top floor defense coming through from Wolves. They brought the Bandit to try to keep that IT wall closed. They've got P4 and the Valkyrie currently lurking, looks like downstairs inside of kitchen and dining. Going to be in a powerful position maybe to stop any pushes coming in through the meeting side. He's got Mowgli up above him to try to coordinate as well. Seen a lot of European teams really try to coordinate with a big duo strat over on that northeast side of the map. Might be where we see GK pushing, actually. They're starting to open the connector wall now.
You see P4, I knew there was intel somewhere because the wall bang is a little bit too clean there, and the downside of no solos is it's hard to find the cameras, and he falls in the battle to Noodle.
Yeah, great pickup there. We saw how that was going to be an important roam coming through from P4, and they go through the basement just to shut that down. They were lurking down there at the very beginning of the round. They find P4. It's an excellent start. That should be the majority of the bottom floor taking control for from Geekay now.
Yeah, when you play this kind of operator style with like the Ying, the Finger, the Thatcher, this is pretty good for the side setup. So finding an early kill on the attack side to also clear the roam means that Geekay now in a fantastic position, quite frankly, and they got more intel to work with.
Yeah, they're droning.
Good intel on leader. Grenade from below does not work out. We're approaching the halfway point of this second round.
Lights out.
With GK having the upper hand. They've got a little bit more time at their disposal before they can really sink their teeth into this. Bandit tricking going, and, well, at least one Bandit battery went down, but Bibu picked the wrong side as it gets opened up by leader. And GK have a very valuable set of tools at their disposal. Also, Deadshot has died for Wolves, meaning that the advantage for GK is looking.
Yeah, and Bibu just didn't have a second Bandit battery, so couldn't put it down, and things are kind of getting worse for us here. As walls open up, lost the members, nades from below flying across the floor here. Very, very wide nade, doesn't find anything. And they got so much time to work with. A full minute, Finger Stims goes through, still EMPs in pocket. Geekay, masterful round here.
Mowgli, big 2K, potentially finds the first frag. Shotgun out with a second. Yes, he will. Brilliantly done from Mowgli. We just sing his praises non-stop. 5-1 here, grabbing the advantage back for Wolves.
How do those look first numbers, Jesse?
Well, those will improve the numbers, undoubtedly.
Wow, what analysis. So good from you. More kills equals better? Who knew? Noodle and Hisham, again in a similar position. Noodle had picked up some relatively impactless kills in the previous round. Working alongside his teammate, they've got not a lot of time left. And it was the undoing of Wolves in the previous round. Despite the final kill coming for Wolves, the clock would have given the round to them anyway. Will the same predicament unfold? Do we find GK in that same set of circumstances? An even slower push towards the site as Hashom dies. Noodle has a good read, but it's Bibu to pop up and get the final 2. Wolves starting out with 2 rounds in a row.
Love that patience in the 3v2. Yeah. We saw a very similar round actually when Dark Zero played against the Sonics a couple of days ago, and we saw a similar situation where DZ were trying to push in mostly from the south side. They had Rafters, they had IT, but they just couldn't get anything going because of the strong positions being held. One person prone behind the desk inside of the west bomb site, another player east inside of electrical. So it really was a difficult spot to try to push into. Without that pinching coming through, I just didn't feel like there was enough pressure coming forward from GK. I liked the early bottom floor clear. They obviously did a really good job of finding out those players. It took some time, but I think that's fine if you're getting that 2-man advantage. The problem is when Mowgli's in the server, he likes to do Mowgli things. We've seen him throughout the tournament so far, getting up, yelling for his team, bringing that energy. I think we're starting to see that again from Wolves.
The same thing with Bibu, very, very loud in the server today, yesterday, and the day before. And you're right, but if you're Geekay, you should expect Mowgli to make those kinds of quote-unquote hero plays. And this might be one of the weaknesses that Geekay they have. They play quite split in their attack inside typically, and usually it's how they get their opening kills, it's how they get map control, and it's how they find those early advantages. But then they don't play close enough together later on when you get yourself in a 5 versus 3 position. You should expect your opponent to go for those like lash out kills, try and even back the numbers before the bombs that execute, because you know Trix, he was playing Ying. So like if you're Wolves, you don't want to let that happen. You don't want to let those Candelas go out. You should expect aggression somewhere, and the fact that 2 members got called by a single player for Wolves is not a good look.
So we're on storage now for round number 3. This is a bomb site where the bottom and top floor are both really important. We've got Deadshot playing up at the top floor right now, Mowgli up inside of Rafters as well. So they're going to be trying to hold things down to try to make sure that they can't come through. The vertical obviously extremely important on this bomb site. Noodle rocking the sledge. Lots of soft breaches being brought by both Key and Leader too. So top floor will be the goal. EMPs are right on hand from Key. Some impacts maybe from Mowgli. This could deny their entry, and he tosses them out. I believe he did get it.
I think so as well. Yeah, I mean, to the point where that is a line of sight, but they can't do much with that. It's you can patch up on a keeper barrier, so if you want to, just wait for it. Modi got 2 in pocket. As shown, we see him always lurking around. Not in the nuke like you would expect. It's the finger. Nuke is open, but yeah, I mean, so does Nuke, right? So you could go Nuke here, but I think you have a global gadget on Finka, so you can roam around far off the map, but still help your teammates if they get injured, take some damage, etc. I like this playstyle from Geekay.
You know, hunkered down Mowgli is in that position. He's got 3 separate keeper barriers keeping him safe, and very selfishly done. I guess maybe not as selfish as we would have thought, because Deadshot is not too far by, and it doesn't matter because there's maybe one angle that Mowgli wasn't looking at as he's the first casualty.
Still so many players top floor though. Deadshot, P4, Shinka, they're all Shinka below, but now Noodle trying to get involved. The Candelas fly out. There's the frag. That's again going forward towards GK. Leader picks the headshot on the P4. This top floor clear has gone really well.
Yeah, it has. I mean, it's been clean, smooth so far, and Tricks with a flank as well. This is the read it. Oh, okay. It's an empire kill somehow.
Oh, GK has had the advantage in almost every single one of these rounds, though they've not prevailed in any of them this time. You're going to be going in a 1v5. Shinka doesn't see to the left. Noodle gets the final kill, and it's flawlessly done for GK to pick up their first round.
What I really love from GK pushing it on that top floor, you know, immediately they had a problem. That impact came out. It denied their entry into IT. Yeah, they had angles, but they couldn't walk through. That's what they initially were trying to do. They didn't let that stall them out, right? They were still holding those angles, waiting for that opportunity. We saw Leader, the substitute player, coming on in, creeping in towards Rafters, finding that opening pick, managing to apply so much good pressure. There was also Noodle playing, I believe it was over by the Aqua Stairs, then later into Rafters, had really good pressure to be able to apply, hold things down. That kill was just ridiculous. I mean, hey, you got
nonsense.
it. That's not fair.
That's absolute nonsense.
Sometimes you get a little unlucky.
I feel a Macy J tweet coming on complaining about one-shot headshot because of that, and I honestly don't disagree entirely. Also, it was his birthday the other day, so happy birthday, Macy J.
Happy belated birthday indeed.
Not sure if we're going to see him at Atlanta. I
believe we will. I think I've seen a tweet come out, actually.
Yes.
So that'd be nice.
I've seen a number of content creators tweeting about their journey to Atlanta, which should start in just a couple days. That'd be great to get people back together again. That's the beautiful thing of all these LAN events. But not to derail you just because of a very funny kill.
You're good. That's what you do, isn't it, Parker?
I derail. Yes, yeah. I derail the conversation. That's exactly why.
Well, we're back on the basement, and as I tried to say in round number 1, this is a bomb site that prior to today, GK had never lost. They'd won it 2 times on attack, twice on defense as well. They obviously lost it round number 1, trying trying to attack. They'll give it their second opportunity here. And it looks like they're going for a pretty direct take coming on through the basement. They're at least going to open it up. They actually have quite a few roam clearing operators. So I imagine they'll just open this up quick, get it out of the way, and then focus on the top floors.
Yeah, basically by opening up the breach first to allow Leader to get all that hot utility off his pockets, now it becomes like a second entry, if you will, right? Leader can now die on the roam clear, and it's not going to cost the round. The wall's already opened up. Same with Keon, the EMPs and Thatcher. They've been spent as well. So now they get the first step done, or actually they get the last step done first, but now it can be smoother going forward.
This is some of the least hard breach that we've actually seen on this bomb site. When we started all the way back in the very first day of play-ins, it was teams bringing 2 hard breachers with can openers. Now you see no secondary hard breach gadget. It's just the ace to open things up. And yet, ultimately, Geekay has succeeded, which is a feather in their cap.
Certainly, and the big pick from Trix through the punch hole, actually taking out P4. This roam over on the kitchen side, it was pretty heavily committed by Wolves. They have kind of Mowgli nearby, Shinka as well, but not near enough for the trade. Very happy about that first pick.
There's the thing, Geekay, they love playing intel, so they got the Jaggle and the Brava here, but the Cap Gun goes off, it's gonna injure Trix, but again, the finger, the global gadget from Hasham immediately gets Trix back onto his feet.
Doesn't feel so bad when you fall down if you can pick right back up, so that's very, very nice. Still now a 4v5 pushing through. That should be top floor pretty much conceded. I think they're pretty happy denying it. Oh, it's not top floor fully conceded. Deadshot roaming through the top floor. I don't know if he's been droned up here.
He's got the mute jammers around him on all the doors, the entryways, so I don't think they know that he is there necessarily, but they also know that there are jammers, so there should possibly be someone. Guess it questions Trix on the Jackal. If you can find the feet, they'll get that verification, but so far that doesn't seem to be the goal whatsoever.
I mean, at this point, the footprint markers from the roamer will likely have disappeared, and more importantly, because Geekay has a numbers advantage, they can comfortably sit somebody on flank watch. There's no dedicated flank operator like a Nomad or a Gridlock, but you see there's some Claymores being brought. Where has Key used those Claymores? That is the real question. Oh, more Capkin traps found, by the way. There's Deadshot making his way back to the site. Trix dies. First casualty for GK. Deadshot will go down to Hasham. Leader cleaning out Bibu, though he's traded back. The adrenal surges working out so well to get Leader back up as his timer will continue to run down. Mowgli and Shinka reduced to just Shinka as Hasham finds that kill. The Capkin spotted, but there's a lot of angles to watch and just too many players from GK staring you down. They answer back with a second round in a row, and it's a tie game.
When you're up against Geekay, I think there's a very clear thing you have to focus on. That is, you need to be all in on these rounds. Just like roaming a little bit and giving up on your members, dying early in kitchen, round and round again, that is not going to work out if you're yours right now. I think you full commit to the roam and say, okay, we will die on this hill. We will fight them out in the injuries, because if you just kind of give them a little bit too much ground, they will take it, and they're so quick to adapt if they don't.
Yeah, and the thing is too, right? Like, yes, you lose one on the early roam, you lose opening pick with P4 going down, then you're thinking, okay, it's fine, we got Deadshot. He's gonna come from the very top floor, he's gonna come for a flank. But the problem is, Night Haven Labs is such a big map. Flanking from the top floor when they're planting on the basement, that's gonna take you ages to get down and have any impact. We saw him get one pick, didn't really find a whole lot of impact right after that, so it was really good from GK. I also want to credit Hasham. He kind of pinched in through EXO, really did make that push turn out so well for them. Caught a couple of players not looking his way, and walked away with some free kills because of it. So some clean pushes from GK, and I think throughout this tournament so far, I have been very impressed with how coordinated a lot of their executes have been.
Especially when they have a sub in. And again, like, their leader is the sub. Or sorry, the sub player is their IGL, rather, should I say. Leader is the commander, if you will. And when you get like somebody new coming, it's like, okay, how are you going to lead 4 people who, I mean, Newton knows him, but like the rest of the squad, Hasham, Trix, and Key, it's like, why should leader be their commander, right? He doesn't belong here, so to speak, but they say, you know what, we trust you, we trust the process, lead us to some victories, and I think with the start that they had, beating teams like NIP, BDS, W7M, that built enough confidence in that system that they had to say, okay, this might actually just work, and it's how they've gotten this far.
So we're back to the top floor bomb site, and last time the bottom floor was really unsuccessful for Wolves. We see this roam clear already again going on through cafeteria, through the kitchen side. P4 and Deadshot, the 2 bottom floor roamers, they're very passive. Deadshot bottom of garage, P4 bottom aqua stairs right now, and yeah, they might be able to find a pick here. We're creeping forward. This is going to be scary.
Then P4 gets the pick. GK has been so good through these first 4 rounds to strike first. It's Wolves to do it, but it's ultimately a trade, so not much gain from Wolves here. The only other trade coming back in that very first round, even then you might be charitable to say it was a trade, as GK had struck first in that round as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, I really like the mini execute from Wolves, right? It wasn't just like a yellow ping or a swing. There's an impact on the wall behind the attacker of Noodle as well. So it really was like a 2 versus 1, kill confirm, and then you still, you know, stick around with your Wolves. Deadshot bottom garage, P4 still roaming as well. This time, Wolves are not giving up the map.
Yeah, and Hasham, I mean, he's pushing in, but he's got nobody with him, right? His teammates have kind of gone at this point, tosses him nades. Gone fishing, not finding anything, though. Deadshot is still down below. We saw the retreat from P4 go up the Aqua stairs. So Deadshot at this point, I mean, he's happy wasting time. If they want a full commit to clearing this guy, it's going to take a lot of time off that clock. And with them already being down to a minute 20, this is about where you want to start focusing on that top floor.
Oh, it is. The thing is, this time there's no Ying. They do have smoke grenades and tricks, though, to set something up, but they still want to first, you know, I guess double check the downstairs area. They haven't cleared it all. They're looking for the Wamai right now, and that's Deadshot all alone.
Oh, Leader missing an opportunity on the kill, but you've got some backup there. As suddenly, down goes Deadshot. Leader actually credited with the kill. I don't know if he got the down because of the way that they've changed things up. You might get the down, but you don't get the secure. You still technically get credited with the kill.
The problem is, what are you doing with this bottom floor? You're out of grenades.
Yep.
You don't have a buck or anything. I mean, you're kind of in a tough spot, even though you finally secured this. You've got 35 seconds to make an execute work, and you're really not going to have any pressure from down below. You've just stopped the flank.
Well, they'll be able to get this Black Mirror now as Leader waiting to push into that catwalk, into rafters, and will have a safer passage to do so, but limited information at the moment, and you just have to play off what you know for the final 20 seconds. Hasham's 6th kill as he now ascends those fish stairs, heading towards the bomb site. Cut across by Shinka, who will now pivot and stare down the ace and take him down, leaving just Bibu in a 1v2, but he's firing away, and guess what? Trickster will need to get that diffuser or go for the engagement, and Bibu shuts him down. Wolves breaking the streak and regaining the lead.
Brilliant play from Bibu. We talked in the earlier parts of this tournament how he was struggling those first 2 games, 1 kill through 2 maps. Now he's really been starting to turn it around. That clutch, beautifully done by him. Again, it kind of comes down to that clock. Yes, you did eventually clear the bottom floor, but how long did it take you? What did you get out of that? Maybe it would have been the right call to just leave Deadshot down there. Obviously, maybe you're worried about a flank, but even if he comes rafters, if you just rush into the bomb site, maybe that can be a bit of a better chance, because again, then he's not even there. You have that man advantage, you have the time, different decisions that you can make there. GK chose to clear it out, chose to take that time, and in the execute, they paid the price for it.
But it's a hard decision because, like, on paper, if you can build that man advantage, go for a flank up Aqua stairs because of it, etc., it looks pretty good on paper, but when you don't have the Munti or the Blitz, the Ying, none of those operators that can, like, kind of get you into the side quickly and easily, it comes down to those 50-50 gunfights. That's exactly how Wolves, they shine. And it was just that, like, half a second kind of delayed push from Geekay where Wolves, they struck out and they found, you know, a trade 1-for-1, whereas if Geekay were a little bit quicker, the backstab from the Aqua staircase would have gotten the kill first and allowed the catwalk player to stay alive, and then they could collapse together. So very, very small things not going Geekay's way, but that's what gives Wolves that round.
Looking for some impact from P4 this round. 1-5, obviously not been the greatest start to this game. He's been roaming all the time, kind of near dining, near cafeteria. He's been kind of on this middle floor quite often, and so I want to see if they do go for the clear on him, as they have been, if he's able to maybe have a bit of a frag, maybe pick up a couple more kills here. He has been playing the Valkyrie quite a bit. Maybe use that intel, right? Whether you're on those cams yourself or you've got a teammate feeding you those intels, it can be really, really helpful. So I'm hoping we get a better round out of P4, because he has been sorely missing this game.
Yeah. I mean, when you're roaming like that, it can be tough, right? But I'm more worried about the bomb site right now than the roam. There's no mirror windows this time. You got Capital. They got more Harpies this time, Parker, right? The can openers and the Mavericks, so things are guaranteed to be opened on up, but it seems to be a different approach for Geekay. Yeah, there's still some people up near the roam looking to enter the building, but has shown this time with a clear presence on the breach itself, droning it, looking for a way in possibly, and go for this off-pace kind of play, maybe looking for a pick on site itself.
Yeah, I mean, going just from the south side is so tough, right? Because you don't have that pinching angle. Typically, you want somebody EXO, you want somebody cargo to try to put that pressure on multiple angles. They don't really have that right now. We still have Mowgli playing cargo, P4 and EXO. I guess they're just going to toss nades in and try to make something work with this. They're hunting for that pick, but still not finding it yet.
Trixit is so close to hitting this bomb site right now, over by Animus. Nice nod to an Assassin's Creed series, also created by Ubi. Fires will go in, and Key hasn't really had a lot of impact when it comes to kills, but utility work will need to be there. No kill to be had in this entire first half for one of the 5 players from GK, and yet they are still as competitive as ever.
Yeah, I mean, that's C4. That's going to slow things down. The fire, the smokes are gone from the Capital. And yeah, one fire did go out, but didn't really get the job done. It forcing you to move, but didn't get the kill for them.
He coming through there actually stepped on a goo mine when he ate that C4. A bit of a disruption coming through, and that's kind of stalled out this push, as you mentioned, Nick. I mean, we're seeing Trix trying to continue to push on in with the defuse kit. But again, what do they have here? Do they have top pressure up above? Not really with any sort of significant soft breach. Do they have anybody storage? Do they have anybody exo? Kind of, maybe. We're looking at storage for this is going to be the pinch coming through. But Mowgli is there, and he has been so on so far today.
Still waiting with the setup. It's going to come down to gunfight again. It's Mowgli against the world.
He gets the pick on to Noodle. Some of the ceiling above him will explode. Trixit hasn't moved off of this position in Animus. Only 30 seconds left. Wolves in the advantage right now. Looking to close out this first half, 4-2. Basholm outside of the building, but so close to the B-bomb as well. Down he goes. The guns from Wolves hitting their marks. P4 doing some work. Trixit finished off now by Shinka, and it's Mowgli and Bibu getting active to give Wolves their 4th round. They win the first half.
I feel like Wolves almost, they were gifted that round. It didn't seem like there was a lot happening from Geekay. They were trying to change things up. Clearly didn't work, but Wolves, they get that 4-2 half.
So we're going to get a call in now, which is something that, Nick, you and I haven't done. And Helby, I don't know if you can hear us, but we're going to let our analyst, Jesse, actually speak to you because he's far more valuable when it comes to the numbers than either of us.
Welcome, Helby. We talked actually the last time that you were jumping in on the call-in, so it's good to see you again. So far this game, you know, you guys, great defensive half, 4-2 split coming through here. Anything surprising you from GK? Obviously, they've played this map a little bit before. Anything that you didn't expect that you're seeing in this game?
I am being told that apparently he can't hear Jesse. Can he hear you, Nick?
Can you hear me, Helby?
I can hear you both, yeah.
Oh, awesome. So, Helby, kind of break this down for us. What do you like to see from Wolves so far? You got that 4-2 half. Break it down for me real quick.
Well, the first two, 4-2 half could have been better. I think we struggled a lot to handle their solo roaming, the lurking. They usually were able to get a free pick by isolating some of our players. So a 4-2 mark, considering it was a bit of a struggle, is pretty good. I think we got, after the 2 win they got, we finally figured it out and managed to adapt. And I think for now on the next side, it's going to be if we are able ourselves to do it.
Then I have one final question here. With Mowgli going 7-4 already so far in the first 7 rounds, are you afraid for Geekay's half? You know, they're like, you know what? They're not going to make this because Mowgli, he's on fire right now.
Well, he's on fire, and he's been on fire on attack. Ever since we had our back against the wall, it's been good. I think we're playing a little bit more freely, more trying to have fun, trying to just play our style instead of playing who's in front of us. And so far, it's working good. So, you know, I want to see Mowgli get at least a 15 bomb.
Oh, yeah, let's go for it. Thanks so much, Helby, for your insight as well. And sorry you couldn't hear Jesse, but we figured it out. Let's see here.
Awesome.
You want 15 kills, Jesse, from Mowgli, he said.
Okay, well, listen, I couldn't hear him either, so we'll call it even.
Okay.
Big pick from Noodle to start things off, taking out Bibu down inside of the bottom floor. Again, we see a very similar take where it's very direct on the south side, and they're already planting the defuse kit.
Yeah, that's fast. I mean, hello, there's still 2 minutes left. The bomb is going down.
Oh my, GK, your return to the bomb site will not be well welcomed. Mowgli looking for that 15 bomb. Well, he's over half the way there. An 8th kill found to Shink as the first casualty for Wolves. Leader might be able to long arm this amidst the chaos. Will somebody read into it? Leader is sitting on it.
Oh.
There's no way he gets away with this, right? Right? No, he does get away with it. Almost brilliantly played by Wolves, but even better played by GK. And I mean, you gotta point some fingers after that happens when there's still 7 or 8 players alive in the server.
Yeah, so we saw some players up above that maybe could have stopped that disable. Mowgli was there. Obviously, the hash is a really important tool that you can use to win that retake. But, I mean, even going for the execute, it's like both teams caught each other off guard when it came to that defuse kit, right? Because we saw the mute mods, the Vigil Roam coming through from GK. They were really, really out and about. And Wolves, they capitalized off that. They go in, they immediately plant. It's so fast. It even catches, you know, us off guard for some of us because it is so fast. But still, for them not to be able to hold down that coverage, again, I think I saw Mowgli sitting inside of Garage. He's kind of got to be the guy to play around there to maybe have that impact, but unfortunately, just wasn't there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I want to say that the depth here from both Wolves and Geekay saying, okay, we recognize the room is strong, go for a quick plan, but then Geekay realized the post plan isn't all that great. The breach is, you know, pretty narrow, and they didn't have any, like, I guess, tools to deal with the diffuser guy afterwards, like cabins of fire, grenades, for example, so the hatch verticality. So, yeah, getting the diffuser down is great if you're the attacking team, but if the post-plant position isn't strong, you're kind of baiting yourselves into what looks like a strong scenario for you, but it isn't.
Nice thing for Wolves, it's your first attacking half. You can try something. You were up 4-2. You don't let that get to you if you're Wolves, right? This has been a very momentum-based team at times. We've seen them really use the energy in the room when we're in that player area of how much that can affect them. I don't think that will halt their emotions too badly here. They'll go to the top floor to try to attack for round number 8. I do think that Geekay setting up once again. They are trying to, they brought the Bandit to maybe deny some of this hard breaching. I believe Bandit's still kind of over in IT. That's the first exothermic charge used, at least for Connector, though. That's
the thing. This is what I like about Wolves. They pick up 2 primary hard breachers, the Ace and the Thermite. Bandit can only be in one position at a time. So if Bandit's on the main breach, well, you go for the Connector breach instead. You kind of change things up. And now you know Bandit is probably going to sit by this main area. B was droning it right now with the Thatcher. EMP's in pocket ready to go. And once they confirm that Hashom indeed isn't in that area of the map, they will EMP out, exothermic charge. But Hashomi's got there. He's putting down the Bandit battery, but he picked the wrong side.
And right as that happens too, Noodle goes down, traded. Hasham as well picks up a big frag here.
I mean, at that point, if you're Hasham, where do you go? You have to swing your way out of that position. It's very similar when we do see some teams opt to Bandit trick that wall in Clubhouse. When it gets opened up and you fail, you're going to get picked from the window, maybe the stairs. You're going to have to fight your way out of it. GK looking for yet another round. Less P4 with that diffuser can fight off pretty much the entirety of this team minus Noodle, who's broken double digits, and a great round from Hashom will give GK their 4th round to tie it up.
And I feel like, I mean, Wolves, they have so much time to work with, right? They got a minute and 20 seconds when the round ended. They lost bodies way before that. Maybe slow things down a little bit here if you're Wolves. Yeah, you're in the attack. If you can't go quickly, great. But if you're going quickly and things are falling apart, utilize the clock because they got more time to work with. And speaking of time, they just bought themselves 45 more seconds because they called their tactical timeout.
Yeah, Nick, I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think Laloon's going to be telling the team the exact same thing. Slow things down a little bit, right? We have 3 minutes on the clock. Let's use it. Because really, when things go wrong in the early round, what they've not been able to do on the side of Wolves is pull things back. What we just saw from Hasham was real initiative, jumping out multiple times, going for the wildest swings in that 4v2. Not just going to let them stall out, not just giving them that opportunity. He swung from electrical into connector, found the first one, jumped out to find the second. Hasham was saying, I'm going to end this round as fast as possible. Make sure that you have no chance of pulling this round back. So if GK are going to play like that, Wolves really need to stop letting these rounds end so quickly.
Yeah, honestly, I just think that if you're Wolves, I'm not gonna say that you're not respecting your opponent because, you know, I'm not gonna say that. But when you've been watching Geekay play, you're underestimating them. No, like when you've been watching them play every single game so far, every team, G2 themselves said, you know what, Geekay on paper looked like a bit of a joke. They didn't look that difficult. We fought all teams which is bad against them. But oh my, in the server, they are so hard to play against. Maybe we'll set the same scenario here where it looked easy on paper, but it really isn't in reality.
Yeah, and we heard that from a lot of teams. It feels like every opponent that goes up against GK, win or lose, they come out of it saying, damn, that team is good. And so I think Wolves are kind of finding out the same thing. Not that they necessarily underestimated, but just that sometimes these fast plays don't really go their way.
It sounds demeaning to the teams that don't consistently play at the top level in the big regions, but I feel like there was a whole host of NA and EU teams and even some Brazilian teams coming in and seeing these LATAM teams, APAC teams, and GK and turning around and not really giving them the respect that they deserve.
Yeah.
And I mean, a good team that got underestimated consistently was Fury. Fury was underestimated so often. Bliss was underestimated. GK, I think, is starting to get to the point where teams are now taking them as seriously as they deserve. But there's always hubris when you play at this level. Teams come in and think they're going to smoke these smaller regions, and well, this event should show you some of them have been in for a rude awakening.
GK have used their attack timeout to cook up a kitchen strategy, which is not a bomb site that we've seen so far from them. They're going to be defending it now with a lot of these really wall operators, these map-changing ops. You got Castle, you got Azami, you've got a lot of grenade catching coming through from the Wamai as well, and of course the Bandit, which we do see, of course, Shinka trying to deal with here as well. The top floor, especially around meeting, super duper important for this bomb site.
Yeah, that vertical destruction. You see Noodle with 3 keeper barriers now, but almost gets taken out in the window. Bad time, but it works out for him. But it's gonna force him back to the hallway instead. Maybe surrender a little bit of meeting room for now at least. And Speeble this time with the opening kill to Twixt.
it's nice that we're starting to see some life from Wolves when it comes to these first engagements, because GK have been exceptional through all 9 rounds at getting that first pick. Wolves establishing some good breathing space with Noodle and Trix being taken out. Now it's Hashom in the line of fire as he has to escape as the Selmas go. Leader getting softened up too. This is all Wolves at the moment.
What do you do if you're Hasham at this point? Because we saw in the last round, he likes to take these kind of awkward moments and swing and get aggressive, but with 1 HP, I mean, you hear the air jabs being thrown at it as well. It's very, very tough to do anything, but you kind of have to. 3v5. If you just sit and let this happen, they're going to execute. They're going to win the round.
Yeah, still got so much time again. Wolves take the seconds that you need here. Don't overgo too far, but Key's down for the counter as well. It's P4 this time getting that. Just gonna keep storming for this bomb set, it looks like.
Key doesn't have a kill through 9 rounds. Nobody in GK might get one unless Leader can get on the board, or else it'll be flawlessly done by Wolves. Mowgli is dropped but not secured, so flawless round for the Wolves. Still very much a possibility. What can they accomplish? Leader will have to reposition. Warden's a good operator, suited for taking multiple engagements, maybe more so than others, but Wolves have looked so practiced. They've given up on kills themselves to allow their teammates to get it in this previous round, and Mowgli, who was the player who decided to exhibit a bit of trigger discipline, now finds himself getting that final pick. Wolves again breaking the streak. 5 rounds on the board for Wolves.
Almost a winnable 1v5. I like the positioning, to be honest. They were all grouping up on that kind of north side, around the front door, inside the bomb sites. They lined up for him. He missed a couple of shots, unfortunately, on the entry there on the side of Leader. But yeah, couldn't quite hit those shots. Really comes down to the meeting hold. You know, I like the idea with the Azami in the castle. I like that you're going to make this top floor into a fortress. But the angles weren't really there for you. We saw Wolves finding those opportunities, even without destroying every single Kiva barrier that they saw. They still felt really, really good about clearing that meeting area, and they used it expertly to win the round.
And also, Wolves came with like 4 or 5 people from the same side of the map, just like bulldozing their way through. Instead of spreading out thin, looking for angles and cutoffs, said, let's brute force the top floor hold, because you said it so well, Jesse. That meeting area, so important. Let's clear that if you're Wolves, with 5 people, and just guarantee that success. Force has shown back and hit the bomb site by just locking down the top floor with the air jabs. And the thing is, it's a pretty close series. It's 5-4 now in favor of Wolves, but Key is still 0-6. This is effectively, on the scoreboard at least, a 4 versus 5 match, and it's still close. So what happens if Key had like a average game for himself here? All of a sudden, this would be even closer, if not just an outright lead for Geekay.
Yeah, Key's been solid so far throughout the tournament. This is a bit of an unusual performance from him. He's not been somebody who has consistently been sleeping for the team. He usually does find his fair share of frags, so to see him down there is not ideal coming through. Hasham and Noodle being 2 big fraggers is not super surprising. Hasham in particular has really surprised me. His aggression, his movement has been so good so far. So nice to see that out of these expected players from GK, but yeah, I think wanted to see people step it up for sure.
Yeah. Also, just again for Hasham, he plays a pretty unique role. I mean, we're in the green room with the talent, and Daxon's like, he kind of plays like me. He rats around the map, he lurks, he goes across the other side where his teammates are, and he makes it work so well time and time again. A very consistent player, but Mowgli, he's not the one lurking around looking for his first kill, and he's right behind the defenders.
You can hear the shotgun of Key going, and he looks the wrong way. Got the James Bond on the board of the 007 of Key through 10 rounds. Consider how close some of these rounds have been. Even a kill or 2 from Key could have completely swung the favor of this map. I'm sure it's something that will be a cause of frustration, but you have to keep your head in the game. For an experienced team, that's still a challenge. For a team that is now playing in the biggest match that they've ever played in, I would argue, that could be tough for GK to keep their mental wits about them.
Yeah, and we've kind of got the same story. Key goes down early, but Hasham's in a dangerous position, of course, just over inside a cafeteria. He has been droned now, double droned even for good measure. Blocks him off, and he could find a pick here if he finds the angle. 3rd Kiba, why not?
He's got more.
Just make it as annoying as possible to kill you.
Oh, and he walks away with it! No! There is no way he prevails. Not with P4. Hot on his heels. That could have gone so bad for Wolves. They only walk away with a single dead player with a minute to go, though now they lose P4 to the well-read Nitro cell from Noodle, who is currently leading the way on his team, trailing Mowgli by a single kill. That 15-kill game for Mowgli, 3 kills away.
He's very close. I mean, but the thing is, the mental game there from Hasham, definitely a one, and he stalls for time, and again, he kind of gets this 4 kill for his teammate as well because he forced him into this bad position. And now Wolves, they gotta just kind of walk down the staircase. Try, guys, let's, you know, duo up, go for those trades, go for those picks. They got 1 nade in pocket from Mowgli, but what are you gonna do? Destroy the soft floor? It's very low value grenade usage.
Bibu watching that hatch, just inches away from getting the heels of Leader, who will be active in the calls to the rest of the team. Mowgli also positioned close by to Trixt. There's an Adrenal Surge to go. One stands in his pocket, tearing away with that caliber-based destruction. Bibu dies to Leader. Now Leader picking up yet another. A 3rd kill to be had by Leader. He pulls it off. All 3 of the final players from Wolves swallowed alive. Tie game.
I really didn't love the way they pushed that 3v3. Bibu was all alone with the fuse kit, trying to drop that south side hatch, trying to make something working while the rest of his 2 teammates were inside of cargo. And I think it can work if those 2 players are trying to get in way before the planter drops, before they can draw that attention away, right? But instead what we saw was Leader immediately found the kill onto the 1 solo player who had the fuse kit, and you don't have to worry about that side of the map anymore. You can fully focus on these 2 players pushing cargo. That is exactly what Leader did. They set him up in a really great position to make that big 3K, and Leader delivered.
That's the thing about basement bomb set is that you can really bunker down if you're a defender. Oregon basement, same story. Theme park, not sitting at basement bomb set, but that armory throne, you can play that 3v3, the 2v2, even play down in numbers on the defensive side, and you're still heavily favored. And it's why we often see when you're attacking those kinds of sites that can be bunkered up on, you bring utility operators, the Capitao, the Ying, the Monty, etc. And we haven't really seen either team bring out all that much utility. Yeah, we saw, you know, 1 Capitao round, and then Capitao died to C4 very early on. Wolves are going with a very, I want to say like standard cookie cutter. We can kind of do it all lineup. They don't change too many things around, and it kind of is a story of Wolves relying very much on Mowgli to get those kills. And if they don't, then it just kind of doesn't go all that well. I want to see them play more utility. I wouldn't mind to see a Monty, wouldn't mind to see a Ying whatsoever, but so far they just have not shown us that whatsoever.
So the underdogs tie it up with the Wolves, 5-5, heading into round number 11, and we go to the top floor. We've again got the Bandit try to hold down IT. We've got mirror windows, we've got Kiba barriers. Going to be a lot for the attack to deal with. No Twitch being brought by them, but they are bringing the Flores, which has been, I think, a little less popular than Twitch since the changes that we've seen coming through from the defender-sided meta. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do with this. Of course, the Kiba barriers, very susceptible to that, but those mirror windows might be a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, you're key and you're playing Fish with 0-7. This is the round where you want to get a kill. Those Fish stairs, very crucial position. We know Wolves, they love to attack that portion of the map. And if you just fall without doing any damage, that's not going to be good for Geekay.
Clearing out the roamers from above. And good pacing right now from Wolves, a little bit behind where the first bit of action was on the previous round, but this is a completely different beast. You don't have 2 layers to cut through, you just have a direct assault on that upstairs bomb site.
That's quick. I mean, Bibu's just kind of in electric. He's just sitting there. Bare window, that's a bit of a problem.
Only lost 1 drone as well on the side of Wolves. Now they've lost a couple. At the time, they still had plenty available, so intel was not a problem for the attackers.
Look how this push is completely focused on the northeast side of the map, right? They really want to take control of Connector. They're in here, they're in electrical. No pressure in IT so far, no pressure inside of Garage, no pressure Aqua Stairs. A lot of this push is being directed from really one side of the map as well. I expect we'll see maybe a late push coming in through Rafters perhaps, or maybe through Aqua Door instead, but where that comes and when is going to be really critical to how this push actually goes for the Wolves.
I agree. You got to get pressure elsewhere. It's Mowgli downstairs looking to make that exact play you just talked about, that bottom Rafters position, but Trix is there waiting and sees the drone. And again, there's only 50 seconds left. If Mowgli does want to commit to this, he has to now go elsewhere. The time is taken away very quickly.
A very critical round now is, it's my favorite. The team that wins this moves to map point. Hasham missing out on that bandit trick, but a familiar position, fighting his way out of that spot as nades from below, at the moment, not finding their targets. They're doing some work to take out various parts of the ground. It's all Wolves all the way down the kill feed. P4 and Deadshot remain. Noodle with the kill onto Deadshot, leaving just P4, who's slaughtered by Trixt. Key still doesn't get a kill, but it doesn't matter. He's killless so far through this match, but GK will move to map point on their own map.
One of the most Hasham plays I've ever seen. He fails the bandit trick. 99% of players in that situation, they back off, they play Raptors, they play somewhere in sight. Hasham says, what if I go pro?
Yep.
Gets the opening pick all because of it. That really opens things up. I also want to credit Leader on the Mira. Pushed really aggressively into Electrical. Managed to find a frag there. Continue to push out that side of the map. We did see those pinches come in, obviously, as we talked about Mowgli down below. P4 through Aqua Stairs. They did incorporate these angles, but the brunt of the push actually was what really stalled and what really didn't find success. With that time so low, they didn't necessarily have time to get that intel to maybe make that push exactly what they wanted it to be. And because of that, Geekay match point.
Yeah, it's the thing, like, you go nades below with no red pings, yellow pings going out. Mowgli, your star injured player, is nowhere to be seen on the bomb site itself. He dies sprinting downstairs, for example. But this is again Geekay understanding the game, the objective, the strategical side very well. They're like, there's no pressure anywhere. We don't have to swing. We don't gotta go for the roam clear. I mean, they basically said, you know what, Wolves, you can have this side of the map for free. We're just gonna hold the bomb site and Rafters and let you make the first move. That first move was the Bandit Breach, of course. Hasham, you said it, just pours on the floor and deals with it. And now Geekay on their map pick, to be fair, they're a match point. They're up 6-5 and they go back to kitchen. So they're cooking it up again. But it's not a pretty bomb site always with defenders.
Now, one thing that is on the line at the moment is the Bibu haircut buff. He had not dropped a map since he shaved his head. Not a matchup, a map. And it looks like this Mina team might be the one to get it done. Poor Bibu, but at some point, streaks are always meant to be broken. They will inevitably break. Unless Wolves go flawless through the remainder of the entire tournament, win the whole thing without dropping a single map, which would be very impressive.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think every player would start shaving their head without any second thought.
Yeah, I mean, it would be possible too, right? We're coming here onto a bomb site, which Wolves looked very, very comfortable on the last time that they attended this bomb site. And Geekay, it's a very similar setup, right? They're again rocking these castle barricades, the keeper barriers top floor. They want to get into the meeting hall. A bit more passive from Geekay. We haven't lost any bodies yet. That's really, really massive for them. That's good. But already the connector side pressure is coming in. We saw the ace open up that angle, and we have a couple players lurking around there. So if they come in and pinch it, it could be bad for Geekay.
It's the same sided push, but this time I think that Geekay realized instead of falling back, we fight and stay our ground, and so far it's paying off.
Honestly, a lot of the last couple maps have really just come down to that Mowgli buff that the team has had. Mowgli gets an opening pick. Mowgli finds some information, and here we go. Crucial round. Nade goes in. The supporting cast needs to be good enough. Shinka and P4 with a pick as well. Adrenal Surge to get Mowgli back up off the ground. And one remains, meaning that a bit more HP will be returned to the Finka, as Mowgli's the only one who's taken any damage at this point. Wolves, with just a little bit under a minute and a half to go, find themselves in a 5v2. That's an excellent spot to propel themselves to overtime.
Melted on that top floor like some cheese on a fine sandwich. Sorry, I'll start with the kitchen puns. 2v5, this is going to be tough for Geekay. Hasham's roaming around that top floor, but Bibu is holding him down, so it's going to be unlikely for that flank to work out. He's actually going to go ahead and drop and connect up with Leader to try to play these trades, and it's a great start. Finds Mowgli in the hallway, so 50 seconds on the clock. Their position's a little bit scattered. This is actually doable.
This position. It's a rat.
Now.
What about now?
Now it's gone.
Still doable?
That's doable.
Leader in the 1v4. An opportunity to close this match out has slipped through the fingers of Geekay, but Leader has been great in the clutch. Shows so far, taking out Deadshot, and now P4. An ace will need to be had by Geekay to win this, as Leader's positioned by that A-bomb given away. Here's the greater issue, though. There will be one player outside, vaulting out. Shinka seals the deal, and we go to overtime, but boy, what a spectacle that could have been if Leader pulled it off. Alas, we will wait. And Key now also has 2 more opportunities to finally get a kill.
That's very true. And how often do you go to a kitchen bomb site, you lose it flawlessly, and you say, you know what, let's go back there on match point and try it again. I don't know about that one, Geekay, right? And Wolves the exact same push, but even better. And it's that domino effect where the second Noodle falls in that meeting hallway, everything else across that top floor hold, it falls shortly after, and Wolves they make it look so easy in that round when they push together with 5 people.
There were some great shots to try to make it happen. We said it was less doable. It didn't mean it was impossible, and we certainly saw Leader give it his best go. Unfortunately, though, the positioning in that 2v1 is perfect. Outside the window, unkillable position unless he swings the window because you're on the defuse kit. The last player was up above as well, so they are in the 2 perfect positions in that 2v1. Very well disciplined by Wolves to be able to close out that round and force us into overtime. And we see the basement bomb site coming through from Geekay. I talked about it at the start of the game. Previous previous to this match, they were undefeated on both attack and defense on the basement bomb site, 4-0 overall. They have lost it a little bit, but it's still been their best site on D, so I'm not surprised to see it back in round 13.
I'm actually curious how the players right now feel in the serve, because when you go into overtime, you know, one team has to start on attack, and that means you get 2 attacking sides, and that, you know, assume that you play all 3 rounds. And I'm curious if Wolves, they prefer starting the attack to keep things kind of the same, you know, because now they can do like a 7th round in a row, things don't change up, then they get their defense, so maybe adaptability-wise, this might be easier to deal with mentally, but if they lose this first attacking round, they do have to go there back again as soon as they win on defense.
That's brilliant.
They feel terrible. They hate this. They wish they were in defense now.
P4 getting shut down early on, not great for the chances of Wolves, but again, this is a spot that they know quite well, as the numbers still very much favoring GK on those opening picks.
And Hisham, I mean, he's not leaving. He's still inside a cafeteria, ready to get aggressive. I believe he's just being droned by Deadshot now. There's a drone lurking in the area at the very least. There it is. Shoots that drone, but the position will be given away. Deadshot and Mowgli will be the 2 trying to pinch out Hisham and find this trade. It'll come late, but if they can get it without casualties, it'll be very well worth it. He retreats back, though, shoots another drone, and I think he's greedy and not out. Could have escaped, but still lurking around inside of vending, and finally backs on off. Great time waste.
He's min-maxing, that's what he's doing. Okay? He's staying for as long as possible, and he played that middle line perfectly.
Trix kills P4, or Mowgli rather. So along with P4, now that's 2 players from Wolves that will wait in the afterlife. Words are hard sometimes here. Bibu taken out by a Nitro Cell of Noodle. All these kills to be had by GK. Boy, oh boy, Defenders having a very good time on this Labs map so far.
This looks more like the that perfect win rate you spoke of, Jesse, of basement hold, because this looks to be a flawless one. We've seen Wolves be in this position before where they have no real way in. They only got 2 or 3 buddies to throw at the problem, and there's so much time. The cameras are there as well. Deadshot finds Noodle somehow, maybe a little bit too exposed, swing out that doorway, but there's still 4 defenders upright.
Well, 3.5.
Okay.
He does have a Nitro Cell, though, of course, all in good fun. Don't take it anywhere too seriously.
Poor Key.
Hisham in a good position, as he always is. Crouched in behind the Kiva barrier. Gonna try to stop this.
Crazy.
He's making it so annoying just to get into this room. Another swing coming through from the Legion of Leader. That will, actually shut down from Hisham, and there's Leader. Big 2 kills to finish that one off. Obviously, tough position to be in 2v5. You're pushing down. I like that they grouped up. You know, they gave it their best shot. Ultimately, though, I think it does kind of come down to that roam game. The drones are good from Wolves.
They are.
This is the thing, right? Like, they always have this information, but the way that they're playing on the side of GK, they're always willing to get aggressive. They're always willing to get that first step going, and I think it's just been a little bit tough for Wolves to get a grasp on that in the early round.
No, I agree, but I also think there's a bit of a miscommunication between the droner and the incher, because Deadshot had a drone on Hisham and Kitchen about 10 seconds before Mowgli was like in striking distance. So it's like either Mowgli is not saying, hey, I'm not ready yet, I need more time, or Deadshot is just not really looking behind him, because the issue with droning is that you're looking forward, where's the enemy? Sometimes you gotta realize, hey, what's behind me? Oh, my teammate is so far behind, I should wait for him, because if you get the intel, act upon it, shut down Hisham, and you don't allow him to like fall back towards the bomb side, you buy yourself an advantage. Instead, he just keep a barrier, shoots a drone, shoots a second, keep barrier again, runs back, and it's like, what are you doing? Right? Efficiency here for Wolves and the droning and incher job isn't really quite there. And it's why some of these attacks are kind of sloppy, whereas when they attack Kitchen those 2 times, there are 5 people in the same exact portion of the map. So they did have the drones, and they did have the follow-up, and it's how they won those 2 rounds, basically both flawlessly.
Well, we've got 1, maybe 2 more rounds for Key to try to get it on the board and for Wolves to try to figure out those droning issues. They'll, of course, go to defense, and they'll also choose to play down inside of the basement. Obviously, a bomb site that most teams prefer. Late reinforcement, Trix trying to punish that on the connector wall. Doesn't get lucky with it, unfortunately. It's Deadshot on the other side of things who will get away. He's inside of meeting right now in a cheeky spot.
To speak to that bomb site as well, this is the 7th time we've at 14 rounds. Half of the rounds played on this downstairs bomb site, and I do appreciate that teams have approached it completely different on both attack and defense. You know, we talked about GK only bringing this single hard breacher that one time. Look on the left side of your screen, they're doing it again. Just an ace to be brought. But the other attempt, they brought what? They brought a Maverick, they brought an ace. Wolves also bringing more than one hard breach to try and tackle this site. Noodle, nice shot onto Mowgli, and this could be the start of the end of Wolves on this first map.
Yeah, look how disjointed the Wolves roam is going to Geekay, right? They don't know where the attackers are. They don't got intel. They don't got the trades. Now P4, he's alone, looking to make the hero play that they need.
Oh, and
He's dead.
prepped and ready for it. Noodle grabbing P4, the roam not really working out the way they wanted.
No, and I think the intel is the perfect point there. You're bringing a Valkyrie every single time on P4. You are dying every single time on P4. They get a bit of damage back onto Tricks. Even if you get these kills, though, like, they're just trades. This is a really roam-heavy defense from Wolves. They don't have a ton of good site utility. One C4 from Shinka, that's about it. 3 Kibos from Deadshot, don't know what that's going to do. So you need to be winning this round in the early portions of it, and they aren't.
No, I mean, strategically, this is just around the Wolves, they fall flat, and Geekay completely counter it. Deadshot again alive, he finds one, but that's all there's going to be around him.
I mean, nicely played to get the kill onto Hashom. Now it's Tricks to take a lot of damage as well. Have to be very careful of your ankles, as those Capkin traps can catch you off guard. Deadshot heard one over towards Garage. Could decide to go in that direction, but target prioritization is going to be key here. Catch him off guard. A freebie onto Noodle, not wanting to re-engage, buying time, hitting the ground as Bibu is off the board. He's down but not out. Deadshot looking around, no kill to be had. GK prevail on map 1, 8-6. And they do so with a player not getting a kill, which is the most remarkable feat of them all.
Listen, Parker, at the end of the day, the only stat that matters is the one at the